All right, so the Raccoon Tweakers guys just continue to embarrass themselves. They are obsessed with Brendan Schaub. Of course, they had another episode this week where they had on, you guessed it, Mark Harley, also known as like BGL or whatever. I don't even know what that stands for. Seriously, when is it going to end? The Fighter and the Kid subreddit is out of hand. All they do is make fun of Brendan Schaub. So on the show with Mark Harley, they went into this long, rambling segment about that Olympic boxer that may or may not be a man or a woman. It was clear that none of them knew what they were talking about, but Mark is some expert on it. Even the people in the comments were kind of questioning why they would talk about it. And some of the comments specifically were talking about how the guy with the small teeth looked like he was dying or something. Like he looked like he totally didn't want to be there. And the people who watch the show picked up on that. Now I know why the only thing they talk about is Brendan Schaub, because when they talk about other stuff, they're just really out of their depth. Also on the show, Mark specifically brings up the 1,000th episode. Well, I can't even say 1,000th. 1,000th. I have a lisp. Yeah. All right. Also on the show, they brought up the 1,000th. 1,000th? I can't say 1,000th.
1,000th.
1,000th. 1,000th. They should just play this. Just gadoosh me. Also, the Timos guys completely gadoosh the 1K episode that T-Fat-K had. And honestly, I thought that episode was really good. That episode really stood out to me. I mean, they got cupcakes. They went over some of their greatest hits. They totally cleared the air with Bobby Lee, and it made perfect sense. I mean, Brendan doesn't really know him that well, and Brian made a mistake.
What's going on with you and Bobby Lee? Have you guys squashed everything?
Yeah, I get it. Respect. Sucks. We're not friends. Makes me sad. All good. Grown man.
Yeah, but anyway.
What else you got?
But Mark Harley didn't think so. He said that Brendan's behind it, which really sounds like me, just a bunch of malarkey.
And Brendan's like, oh man, 2022 is so weird. Like, I didn't have anything to do with the Bobby Lee thing. It was all Brian's fault. I don't know if you guys saw this, but like, the whole episode, because his new, like, you know, fuck buddy co-host Shanaz or whatever is like, a lot of the people are asking, like, what's up with Bobby Lee now? And you're just like, you're like, I feel bad because knowing, like, I'm in that room and knowing how much Brendan didn't want to answer that question. But do you guys remember how if you watch this, he completely deflected.
Yeah, he was like, I don't even know about
He's like, Bobby, I've never friends with him. I don't know who he is. Like, Brian obviously totally harassed him. And I'm like, knowing the actual inside story of like, no, you hired fake hackers who told you that Bobby Lee was running the subreddit, and you called me up, and I was like, maybe sit on that information rather than doing anything about it. And then like 2 hours later, you're like pretending the LA Times is running some fake story on Bobby Lee while he's at dinner to make him panic and call you back, and then you ambushed him with Brian. I'm like, this was all you, dude. Like, sorry.
One thing I did appreciate, though, is that Mark Harley outed Schaub as a rub and tugger, which is something that I'm really against. I don't know why people go to shops like that when they could just be watching Too Lazy to Try videos instead.
One time I'm like, okay, yes, you technically show up at 9 a.m. on Mondays. Sometimes he would just show up randomly like an hour and a half late because he's getting a rub and tug. Like literally, I remember like being behind him one time and seeing him pull in.
That's a fucking hawk move right there.
So smell like chocolate and possibilities.
It's about to get tropical up in this bitch.
Bro, not tropical. It's about to get African. I'll get on all fours, man. They'll jack me off like the milk in a cow. I'll get on all fours. They'll milk me like a cow. They'll jack me off on all fours and put their digits in my asshole. Another one put her fingers in my ass.
Well, sir, how would you even ask that? Excuse me. I know you don't speak English. Okay. I want to get on all fours. You know,
yeah, $75.
That's amazing.
$75. You get all that. Max rubmaps.com.
Rubmaps.com.
Rubmaps.
Yeah, I think it's called Rubmaps.
It's an app.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what they say.
I don't have it on my phone.
That's what a guy of a friend told me. I don't have my fucking phone. I have some sort of creep.
All in all, the episode was just way too long. They say it's 10 minutes, but I counted, and the episode was 2 hours and 14 minutes. And 15 of those minutes was just the Gerald guy laughing.
This little chin guy.
You're right.
And 2 hours in the episode, the audio, there was some weird cut, and it was clear that Jared guy accidentally pushed the wrong button, which is something he does often. The guy with small teeth has no idea what's going on in production. You can tell he barely knows how to turn on a computer, so it's totally up to Jared, and he fails at that. Why doesn't he ever go to a dentist? It's like, it's not that hard to get dental insurance. I just look at his teeth sometimes, and I think, man, you shouldn't be doing a podcast. You should be at a doctor's appointment. Some people say it's huge gums, but I don't think that's true. The teeth are very small. And you can tell these guys, their fans are really into them because this week, everyone was saying this was the best song they did on Timos, but I mean, that's clearly not true. And I think everybody agrees with me when I say that the Prince song was their best cover.
Tried to go to Thick Boy Nation, but nobody was even there.
But it just kept getting worse for them this week.
What does TLDR mean? Too long, don't read?
Today I learned.
I thought I would get a definite answer from you because you're Mr. Twitter.
I mean, is that a Twitter thing? TLDR?
I'm not on my phone at all. So I think I only see it on Twitter.
Right.
Because things are super long and they don't want you to read the whole thing. So like, too long, don't read. Gerardo put a Sharpie in his butt.
I'm a boomer, dude.
Okay.
I'm 58 years old. I don't know shit. They also have another podcast called Raccoon Tweakers. This week's episode was totally boring. And what about the ice? Does she say that and do the ice wrong still?
Ice is no longer a problem. I confronted all the workers. I sat them down and I said, if you fucking... And I didn't cuss, but you know what I mean. Ice is important to me. They're doing a great job, dude. This one I've had probably for like 30 minutes. You hear that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
That's a
I
good
never
amount.
know how much ice you want, but that's the perfect amount you got going.
I'd rather it be that way, dude. I don't want you to know how much ice I want. You know what I mean?
So Gerardo was totally pissed the whole episode, and honestly, it really took away from the show because he was so mad. Let's be honest, he started the episode off with Hernado. Like, that really happened, okay? That was a thing he decided to do, and nobody got it. The bit fell flat. And if you ask me, he totally made it up. He just makes up these weird stories. Also, there are times where he goes to Starbucks, and if you look at his social media, he's got so many posts where he just posts like Starbucks people giving him the wrong name. So you can tell he kind of like wants it, but at the same time, it also really hurts him. And let's be honest, the co-host, Cooney, he's basically dead. Like, does he even drink coffee? If he doesn't, I think he should. And out of nowhere, Cooney just reveals that he has this weird condition with his foot. So I have hammer toe. If you don't know what hammer toe is, it's when your toe, it's just the two middle toes. They curl up like this.
Oh.
Look, I have so many things wrong with me, but my feet are amongst the worst.
I could cut
They're
this
my
part out.
biggest problem. If you think my teeth are bad, thank God you don't have to look at my feet. And it's like, we don't want to hear about your feet, but then he just keeps going on, and he has something called hammer toe. I looked it up online, and I cannot believe this guy even wears shoes. Another thing that's really weird is that Cooney, everyone says that like he has small teeth, and he's always making jokes about it, but Gerardo doesn't even go to the dentist. Like he at one point he just interrupts Brendan and he goes, I don't go to the dentist. And it's like, wow, this is coming from a guy who, when he goes to a barber shop, just looks at the barber and says, do your thing. I mean, this is just something that he has serious problems emotionally and mentally, I think. And that's what's preventing him from going to a dentist. And then also like, what's going on with his hair? And it really feels like they're grasping for straws in this episode, because at one point they just start talking about how you can read. And Gerardo says that like he has audiobooks that he can pay attention to, but when he starts reading, he can't visualize, or he's not supposed to visualize. I really didn't follow this part. And the whole time I was just staring at Cooney's small teeth. Honestly, I was falling asleep just like Cooney. So apparently the biggest thing going on the show right now is that Gerardo has a new pair of shoes. He said a listener bought the shoes for him, but then it goes off into this weird tangent about his family's group chat. And his mom hates Biden. And it's like, we've heard a lot about that already. Like, we know that his mom and dad think that Biden is the worst thing to ever happen and that Trump's great. But Gerardo just goes on and on talking about the things that his family says about the shoes. And it's like, honestly, I started to feel really bad for him, because this is a guy whose family won't even be happy when he gets a new pair of shoes. They just say mean things to him. And I almost didn't want to put this video out, but I kind of thought that you guys would enjoy it. So check out my Patreon episodes. I have a new episode about how Gerardo smells and and more about Cooney's fucked up foot. Like, we really get into it. I show pictures. I have like text messages from ex-girlfriends and that kind of thing. So if you're into that, join my Patreon. And if you are a big fan and you watch all the videos, please join the Patreon, because I go into this guy, Duck Hoxton. He leaves voicemails, and I'm pretty sure that he stalks them. So watch out, Timos, guys. Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.